KRISS Vector Gen 2. This one happens to be chambered in 10mm, but I'm in the process of betterizing it. I'm going to betterize the KRISS Vector in a couple of ways. Number one, added a vertical grip. That's going to make a difference because holding here, I don't have a problem with the mag release, but what I do have a problem with is the bolt hold. So every once in a while I'll interfere with that, or it'll interfere with me because that thing will come up and smack me in the thumb really hard when the bolt locks open. So this should make a difference. Other thing I'm going to do is put on a Talon grip. That's kind of a no-brainer. Pistol grip on this thing, which is strangely part of the upper, not part of the lower, is mag pull design and make. It is basically an MOE. You can see it stamped right on the bottom, MOE. It's good quality. It's got a nice grip angle and has a decent texture, but you know how I feel. Pretty much everything feels better with a rubber Talon on it. So I contacted Talon. They were nice enough to send me out one, and I'm going to put it on. Speaking of Talon grips, save yourself 10% on anything you buy from Talon grips by using the code JustinO when you check out. Please do that. I asked for that code just for you, so I want you to use it. Okay, on to the task at hand. I'm going to separate the upper and the lower receivers. There's no reason to have all of this to work with. That's very easy to do with the KRISS. Boom. So now we're dealing with just the part we need to deal with. Okay, so I'm going to take out the alcohol wipe. And you know the drill. So for the review I did for Guns America, I put about 400 rounds through this thing, and you can see, got the pistol grip a little bit dirty. But it looks like we've gotten all that off with our alcohol wipe. My hands are clean. Let's begin. This one looks pretty simple and straightforward. I think I can figure this one out without reading any instructions. I'm going to go ahead and leave that back strap. Back strap is a little bit more to the right than it should be, but I have a tendency to push them to the left. I mean, a little more to the left than it should be, but I have a tendency with my grip to push them to the right anyhow. So I'm just going to leave that alone. I don't care. It does feel nice already. Okay, now the heating part. Okay, through the magic of time-lapse photography and an on-off button, you didn't have to sit through all that. Well, I heated it up and it is nice and warm now. Oops. So now I can smush. Boy, there's just something about a freshly installed Talon grip that just makes any gun feel so much better instantly. So you may assume now, in case you didn't know, Talon does make grips for long guns, not just handguns. You should check their website. They have coverage, haha, literally, for lots and lots of rifles and carbines. Bullpups, all that good stuff. Okay, good deal. I'll probably heat it one more time and smush it one more time, but you don't need to be subjected to that. So that's it. There's a Talon grip on the KRISS Vector. Looking good and feeling even better. Okay, I am in the process of betterizing the KRISS Vector. So I've installed a vertical grip, and I have just installed my rubber talon. And now I'm going to put something that it very much needs, in my opinion, on the stock, and that is a rubber pad. I found this rubber pad on Amazon, and that's who makes it, CDS Tactical Products. This cheek pad is 1/4 inch thick. I think the other choice was 1/8 inch or 1/16 inch. And it's just an M4 style, this is an M4 stock, so we should be good. It comes in a long or a short. I wanted the long. I wanted full coverage. So I'm going to go ahead and clean the stock with alcohol first to make sure it's good and clean. And one thing I had noticed already, which was very cool. Let me zoom in a little bit here. So I'm going to leave this probably sitting right where it is. This will give you a better look. One of the things I noticed as I was sort of dry fitting this, I was like, man, I want to make sure I get it centered. You see that little, it's easier to see in the paper. You see that little notch? There's one on either end. And the notch is actually also present and visible on the foam. Just a tiny, tiny little notch that shows you where the center is. So I can line that notch up with the center molded into the stock, and I will be golden. So that, boys and girls, is very cool. So folks at CDS that make this, good job. Somebody was thinking just using an alcohol wipe, just the same kind that we use for talon grips. In fact, this is an alcohol wipe that I probably stole from a talon grip. Just make sure it's good and clean, because the important thing about any adhesive is making sure that the surface is clean. And you see, I'm getting dirt off of there. I don't know if you can see that. Getting dirt off of there. Skin oils and all that good stuff. I can't remember offhand what this pad cost. I want to say it was somewhere in the neighborhood of $11 or $12, which is kind of a lot for a small foam pad, but hey, they were smart enough to put little notches for the center position on it, so they're entitled to make money. But even though it's a relatively inexpensive stick-on product, we want it to stay on once we stick it on. So I thought for a minute, I thought about getting creative and trimming this taper and everything, but I don't see any need to do that. So go ahead and peel this. Wow, this adhesive is really strong. Trying to line this up. I'm going to start at the back. Going to press it down evenly. Work it to both sides, front to back. I just don't want to get any air underneath. I want to get a nice snug seal between the adhesive and the plastic underneath it. I also don't want to stretch the foam, because if I stretch it, then it's going to want to contract, and then that's going to cause it to loosen or wrinkle. So the reason I'm putting this on here, you may say, hey, Justin, why are you putting this on there? Because the 10mm on the KRISS Vector, the way the KRISS Vector recoils is it recoils downward, which means the return is upward. So it kind of bounces up and down when you shoot it, as opposed to pushing back and forth like a regular rifle. And I found, depending on whether I'm using the open sights or a scope or an optic or something like that, depending on how my cheek weld was, it was beating the crap out of my cheekbone. So I figured this may help. Can't hurt. Can't hurt. The worst case scenario is I wasted $11 and I peel it off and throw it away. But then you will be the wiser if that happens. And maybe I can save you that same 11 or 12 bucks. Alright, I think we're done. Not exactly rocket surgery. And it looks pretty even. It doesn't come all the way down to that little molded part, but it looks like it's pretty even on both sides, and that's all that counts. Just didn't want it to look stupid. Okay, let's put these two halves back together. which by the way is super simple. It really is easy. Let me zoom back out a little bit here. Alright. Okay, so now we just take our pins and push them back in. 1, 2, 3. That's it, kids. She's back together. Okay, so now we have, let's review. We have a Talon grip, we have vertical grip on the front, and we have a pad on our stock. So we have mo-betterized the KRISS Vector. So I'll let you know how all this helps when we get it out and shoot it some more.